Happy Wednesday hump day, crypto fam, lots to cover. In today's show, Bitcoin limps into FOMC as flag and volume adds to the Bitcoin price hurdles. I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. Also in today's show, Litecoin price poised for 700% gains versus Bitcoin, says Charlie Lee. That's right, with the Litecoin having just 3 more months away, it being well positioned for some massive gains, argues the founder. Also in today's show, Bitcoin BRC20 token standard becomes a new destination for meme tokens. That's right, the BRC20 token market cap has seen a rise of 600% just in the past week as it continues rising. Also in today's show, Bitcoin miners earned a whopping $50 billion from Bitcoin block reward fees since 2010, with Bitcoin miners up 37% from their activities. Not so shabby. Also in today's show, Balaji, the former Coinbase CTO, pays out his crazy $1 million Bitcoin bet with the price action 97% under his price target with still yet 45 days to go. In fact, he actually sent $1.5 million in donations, including $500,000 for Bitcoin core development. So much respect. Also in today's show, Parabolic advance for Bitcoin now on the table as bullish technical indicator flashes, says TechDev. In fact, I'll be sharing with you the case for $150,000 Bitcoin price in quarter 2, 2024. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. And welcome everyone just tuning in. This is pod number 1270. I'm your host JV, and today is May 3rd, 2023. Lots to cover. Checking out the market here, we can see we're currently correcting. Bitcoin down 0.75%, maintaining just above $28,300. We have Ether also in the red, down 0.25%, trading just above $1,850. With also BNB, XRP, Cardano, Solana, all the major alts currently correcting. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. The crypto market cap sitting over $1.16 trillion with about $35 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance at 46.9% with the Ether dominance at 19.1%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, Block Stacks leading the pack up 10%, trading above 85 cents, followed by Rocket Pool up about 9%, trading above 50 bucks, followed by Synthetics up 2%, trading at $2.43. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, we have Hex leading the pack up 12%, Stacks up 10%, and RP up 8.7%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators, the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, shows we're currently rated a 64 greed, yesterday a 55, last week a 56, and last month a 63 in greed. So there you have it. And now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out the charts and what's popping here right now. Bitcoin hit daily lows at the May 3rd Wall Street Open as the markets counted down the hours of the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, which is now, I believe, less than 2 hours away. And right here, you're looking at the Bitcoin 1-hour candle chart. Data from Cointelegraph Market Report and TradingView showed Bitcoin reaching 28.1 on Bitstamp, down 2% from the day's highs. Bitcoin continued volatility into May 3rd meeting of the FOMC, the event that accompanies the interest rate adjustments. Market sentiment priced in a 90% plus chance of the Fed hiking 0.25% to copy the March moves, with little expectations of a surprise. Instead, the odds of the hike materializing stood at 83% at the time of this recording, according to CME Group's FedWatch tool, around 15% lower than the previous day. And as in March, the Fed would be hiking into a banking crisis, exacerbated by already the high interest rates. Multiple U.S. regional bank stocks fell considerably the day prior, raising concerns that the crisis has gone nowhere. Quoting them here, the regional bank sector, KRE, just posted its third biggest daily drop of this crisis, falling nearly 7%, or falling 7%. Yet we have still not received any comment from the FDIC or the Fed. The financial commentary resource mentioned the Kobasi letter. In fact, the Fed is expected to raise interest rates again today. Meanwhile, no major headlines are reporting on the crisis anymore. The lack of attention to what's happening to our system is incredibly concerning. I agree with that. And Arthur Hayes, the former CEO of crypto derivatives giant BitMEX, held a similar bleak view, predicting the downfall of several regional banks this week in a copycat move following the shutdown of First Republic Bank. at the weekend. And in yesterday's episode, if you missed it, I broke down his latest prediction of crypto haze, talking about a $1 million Bitcoin price. And he says, Yahtzee, more banks are about to fall like dominoes. And also says that PACW is indicating down 10%. Oh, baby, they will make it to Friday, or does the Fed have a surprise for us? What are your thoughts? And he also says, isn't it great there is such a resilient banking system in Pax Americana? Now, despite the banking angst, Bitcoin remained aloof, failing to capitalize on the sentiment and remaining firmly within an established trading range. Quoting Dan Crypto Trades here, above $30,000 would continue the bullish trend. Below $27,000 would make for a bearish market structure, as outlined here in this chart. And fellow trader Pentoshi revealed a downside target of around $25,000, quoting him here. This is actually coming from Elizy. Bitcoin, the only areas of interest to me where I would pull the trigger. No limit order active today. The spikes can be screwing you, so I will evaluate closely those indicated areas. So there you have it. And let's actually check out this chart here on Crypto Twitter so I can share these indicated areas a little closer. And you can see one of the areas is 29.3 and another area at $28,000. So there you have it. Let me know if you are currently bullish on the King Crypto. And one more update. This is coming from Rod Martin, known as Crypto Rod on Twitter. Bitcoin update, possible bullish setup. I'm expecting consolidation move after the huge volatility we get. Maybe it's the alts time. As long as we hold the range POC, all is okay in my opinion. Possible bullish retest today here before we send it a bit higher in the range. So there you have it. And now let's discuss the latest with the Litecoin halving around the corner. And the founder is predicting Litecoin to outpace Bitcoin by 700%. That's a very bold prediction. So let's break this down. That's right. Litecoin can make some big gains versus Bitcoin, particularly as the August halving event gets closer. According to Litecoin's creator, Charlie Lee, Lee argues that Litecoin/Bitcoin can rally to 0.025 BTC or over 700% in the next bull cycle, with the Litecoin having higher throughput by design, scalability with extension blocks, better fungibility, and privacy from MWEB. Quoting Lee here, I can see an upside target of 10% in the next bull market. 5% shouldn't be too hard to achieve. I honestly don't see how it is going much below 1% on the downside. The next halving will be in 92 days. This is going to be fun. His statements appeared after Litecoin's 85% price recovery from its record low in June of 2022. Litecoin is still down about 90% below its record high from Bitcoin from November of 2013, owing the rising competition to the altcoin market. And as you can see here on the Litecoin chart, Litecoin's recovery in the recent months has been accompanied by growing buzz around the upcoming block reward halving. The Litecoin block reward to miners will be cut by 50% from 12.5 Litecoin to 6.25 Litecoin sometime in August of this year. As a result, the new Litecoin supply will drop by 50%, which should, at least in theory, make Litecoin more scarce on the market and therefore go up in price. Historically, the months leading to the Litecoin halving typically prompted traders to accumulate Litecoin. For instance, the first halving event in August of 2015 preceded a 450% price rally versus the King Crypto, as outlined here in this chart. However, do keep in mind, the months before the second halving event saw limited gains as Bitcoin's crypto dominance grew amid the US-China trade war, but as a rule, Litecoin/Bitcoin falls sharply after the halving events, suggesting the same can happen after August of this year. Litecoin price technicals hint at a similar scenario, with Litecoin/Bitcoin printing what appears to be a bear flag pattern, as shown right here in this chart. The pair may bounce towards the upper trend line of its bear flag, which coincided with the 50 3D exponential moving average near 0.0035 BTC ahead of the halving, but its bear flag target sits at around 0.0024 BTC, down 20% from the current price levels. So can Litecoin price realistically hit $100 by June? Let's break it down. Litecoin has fared better versus the US dollar in the months leading up to the last two halvings. Litecoin's price grew by about 250% ahead of the first halving and 500% ahead of the second when measured from their seasonal lows, respectively. Then the price undergone a similar upside trajectory ahead of the August halving, with Litecoin up 120% from its seasonal low of around $40 and may continue to rise in the coming months based on a mix of technical and on-chain indicators. For example, Litecoin is undervalued relative to its fair value according to Glassnode's MVRVZ score, which is currently negative 0.1. I'll say that one more time. Negative 0.139. Got to make sure I get that right. The MVRV score presents the ratio between the market and the realized cap. So when the market value is significantly higher than the realized value, it historically indicates a market top, which we can see here in the red zone. Meanwhile, the opposite indicates market bottoms, which you can see in the green zone as shown in this chart. Litecoin entered the green zone, which typically precedes strong bullish reversals. And from a technical standpoint, Litecoin price is well positioned for a rebound after retesting its multi-month ascending trend line as support. So in this case, Litecoin can climb towards its horizontal resistance level near $100, up 20% from the current prices. So there you have it. How many of you are currently bullish on Litecoin for the Litecoin halving? And what are your thoughts surrounding the price projection from Thomas Lee, projecting that Litecoin will surge 700% against the Bitcoin price action? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. And at the end of the show, I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud. Now let's discuss the latest going on with BRC20 tokens, which are tokens on the Bitcoin blockchain, which have been surging to say the least. Bitcoin's BRC20 token standard has become the latest trend in the crypto ecosystem, especially after the Pepe meme coin rise in the recent months. A total of 8,500 different tokens have been minted using BRC20 standard, with the majority of these BRC20 tokens being meme coins such as Pepe and Memetic. That's right. BRC20 is an experimental token standard on the Bitcoin blockchain modeled on Ethereum's ERC20. It allows programmers to create and send fungible tokens via the ordinals protocol, which is ultimately the Bitcoin NFTs. How many of you have flirted with ordinals? Let me know in the comments. Although modeled after ERC20, the BRC20 token standard fundamentally differs from its Ethereum-based counterpart. BRC20 tokens don't make use of smart contracts. The token standard also requires the Bitcoin wallet to mint and trade these tokens. The BRC20 standard was created early in March by an anonymous on-chain analyst called Domo. Interesting, right? The objective was to make it as possible for fungible tokens to be issued and transferred on the Bitcoin blockchain, and the market cap of BRC20 tokens has exploded over the past month and currently sits at $120 million, which is a 600% rise just in the past week. Now, the BRC20 token frenzy has also dwarfed the blockchain's original number of Bitcoin transactions. The number of BRC20 transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain between April 29th and May 2nd reached over 50%, outperforming regular Bitcoin transactions. The BRC20 token volume peaked on May 1st at 366,000 transactions, with the total number of transactions on the network being 2.36 million. And along with the rise of BRC20 transactions, the transaction fees have surged due to the new token activity. Since its inception in late April, the network generated an additional 109 Bitcoin in transaction fees for miners. And as the meme coin frenzy has been a notable topic on the Ethereum blockchain, but the rise of the BRC20 standard, a similar trend is also observed on the Bitcoin blockchain. The meme coin craze has also led to a significant rise in Ethereum network gas fees, contributing to the network congestion. That's right, the fees on the Ethereum blockchain continue to rise, which is pure insanity. Right when you think it can't get any worse, it just continues. So I thought this, Shanghai upgrade and a lot of these things were going to change all that. But at the current moment, the gas fees are still astronomical, to say the least. And now let's discuss what's happening with Bitcoin miners out there. And shout out to all the Bitcoin miners. Let's break this down, how much they have collected. Bitcoin miners have profited roughly 37% on Bitcoin mining since its inception, according to the latest data. Calculations from on-chain analytics firm Glassnode suggest since 2010, the fees of the block reward subsidies have netted miners over $50 billion. Not too shabby. Amid an ongoing debate over the miner costs and susceptibility to the Bitcoin price dips, new figures suggest that miners are firmly in the black in the long term. But according to Glassnode, miners' total all-time income is almost 40% higher than their estimated costs, coming in at $50 billion versus $36 billion, respectively. I mean, numbers don't lie. You can see in this chart the miner thermal cap versus cumulative production costs. Now, researchers generated the numbers using two metrics, the thermo cap and transaction fees, which are the cumulative sum of issuance multiplied by the spot price, in addition to the all-time generated fee revenue and difficulty production costs. The dedicated report in late March, Glassnode explained the nuances beyond the calculations while arriving at the 37% profit margin still in place today. Quoting them here, in this model, the thermal cap and transaction fees can be considered the realized revenue by miners, whilst the difficulty production cost is considered the aggregate mining input expense. Now, the results counter the fears that too low a Bitcoin price can spark mass capitulation across the mining industry, which continues to grow. The Bitcoin network fundamentals support the argument, with difficulty and hash rate both hitting new all-time highs throughout 2023, and I expect this to continue. Just FYI, current estimates from BTC.com predict that this week's difficulty adjustment will be the first negative one for Bitcoin since mid-February of 2023, and meanwhile, an influx of newly created unspent transaction outputs thanks to ordinals is rapidly making on-chain transactions less appealing this month. Glassnode shows these created UTXOs spiking to their highest level since May of 2015, with the fees rising accordingly. And blockchain.com has the one-day moving average transaction fee rate at $6.91 for May 2nd, more than any time since July of 2021. So there you have it. And now let's break down our next story of the day, and that is Balaji, the former Coinbase chief technology officer, paying his debt, even though this bet still has 45 days to go. He just donated $1.5 million in good faith, and then we'll be breaking down this $155,000 Bitcoin price prediction by the second quarter of next year in 2024, right around the time of the halving, and then we'll dive into some live Q&A. So here we go. Shout out to Balaji, by the way. So the $1 million Bitcoin price bet has been closed out 97% under its price target, with backer Balaji choosing instead to donate a total of $1.5 million to three different entities as the settlement. On May 2nd, the former chief technology officer at Coinbase said the bet has been closed out by mutual agreement 45 days ahead of the time. And as a settlement, he paid synonymous Twitter user and self-titled hyperinflation doubter James Medlock $500,000, donated $500,000 to the Bitcoin Core developers, and gave an additional $500,000 to the nonprofit charity Give Directly. In fact, he just even made a video about it. I just burned $1 million to tell you they are printing trillions. So there's a message. That's the message being sent. I just burned $1 million, 1.5 million actually, to tell you that they're printing trillions. So yeah, only keep in the bank what you can afford to lose. Quoting him here, I settled the bet ahead of time and donated even more than I had committed. I am not in the habit of publicly burning $1 million, he added, explaining the reason for closing out the wager around 970,000 below his target price of $1 million per Bitcoin was because he believes in the public good, and citizens can no longer rely on the public sector to tell us when something is wrong. Much respect. Quoting him again, I spent my own money to send a probably costly signal that there is something wrong with the economy and that it is not going to be a soft landing like Jerome Powell promises, but something much worse. So despite giving away a total of $1.5 million, he remains convinced that the American economy will eventually reach a state of hyperinflation. I mean, it's inevitable. Under his view, investors will rush to secure the value of the rapidly depreciating dollars in Bitcoin, rapidly driving the value of the asset to reach a price of $1 million per coin. The high-profile wager was initiated back on March 17th following a disagreement between him and synonymous Twitter user James Medlock. I bet you James is feeling good right now. Medlock initially tweeted that he would bet someone $1 million that the U.S. would not enter any state of hyperinflation. The conditions of the bet stipulated that if the Bitcoin price failed to reach $1 million by June 17th, Medlock will receive $1 million in the dollar peg stablecoin USDC, as well as an additional 1 BTC. But on the contrary, if the price of an individual Bitcoin were to be valued at $1 million by the same date, Balaji could keep that 1 Bitcoin and the $1 million in USDC. With Bitcoin currently trading under 29,000, that means the market cap is actually sitting above 556 billion at this current time. But yeah, quite the distance away from that $1 million target. But as I pointed out, much respect for Balaji for bringing this into the awareness of many people around the world. And with that being shared, now let's dive into this $155,000 Bitcoin price prediction from crypto analyst Tech Dev, and then we'll dive into some live Q&A. Popular crypto analyst thinks Bitcoin can be gearing up for a parabolic advance to a new all-time high. He tells his 400,000 Twitter followers the Bitcoin tends to follow the global cycles of liquidity, which he portrays with a chart that pits the Chinese 10-year bonds against the US dollar currency index. And according to the analyst, this chart is now flashing a signal that has historically marked the beginning of a fresh Bitcoin bull run. In fact, as you can see here, the yellow arrows aren't halving dates. They are the liquidity signals which preceded each parabolic advance to new highs in the King crypto, as outlined right here in this chart. He also explains that the specific liquidity event in these charts are breaking over its 60-week moving average, quoting him again, has correlated with China's credit impulse and historically led to 3.5 global liquidity cycle. This ratio appears a rotated version of the Bitcoin chart. The analyst also says he's keeping a close watch on the CN basically that Chinese 10-year bond and US dollar currency index chart, as it's within the realm of possibility it can break below the 60-week moving average, which would invalidate the signal. And earlier in the month, Tech Dev told his followers that the multiple technical indicators suggest Bitcoin would be mimicking its 2015 bull market, a cycle that saw the Bitcoin price rally from less than $200 to $20,000 in about 2 years. We're talking about a 100x rally Bitcoin witnessed back in 2015 in just 2 years. Now, obviously, if we hit another 100x rally, that would take Bitcoin to infinity and beyond. We're talking about a $3 million Bitcoin price, but realistically, here's what he has to say. He just shared this morning. Most time into an issue by far, always more to learn. Global liquidity, risk appetite, and structural confluence. The case for $150,000 plus in quarter two of 2024 Bitcoin top, and what to monitor to confirm or invalidate. And he outlines here in this chart, you can see the Bitcoin price action just surging to a new all-time high, hitting $155,000. So what are your thoughts surrounding his $155,000 Bitcoin price prediction by ultimately around this time next year in the second quarter of 2024? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. And now let's dive into some live Q&A. Welcome to each and every one of you here in the live chat. Mark Thomas, Helen, good to see you, fam. It's been a minute. Megadon, good morning. Nathan, good to see you. UFO Nut, Digital Dankness, always a pleasure. Alan Haley, good to see you. And I'm going to scroll to the top. Evan Rivero, welcome and good morning. Yes, it is that dreadful Fed day. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. John Tipton, good morning and welcome. Bitcoin airdropping freedom. One orange pill at a time. You got that right, fam. Shout out to everyone, Orange Pill and others around the world. Ron P, good morning and welcome. Statwise Jenks, what it do? Give thanks and praises for the guidance and protection Satoshi provided the world with his roadmap for financial survival and the ability to thrive in the face of great adversity globally. That's what's up, Ron P. God bless. Appreciate y'all. Mike M, good morning and welcome to you as well. Liverpool in the house. Shout out to the UK. Appreciate you tuning in always, fam. We got LFC Liverpool Film Club in the building. Lazy Turtle, good to have you here with us today. Fantastic day. Dankness says I did my chores. Well, congratulations. Alan, Fed time in 2 hours. I mean, the clock is ticking. We'll see. Do you think this will be bullish or bearish for the price action of crypto? We shall soon see. I don't use my Twitter much, but I did tell my little brother about you. Appreciate that, Lazy Turtle. Means the world to me. Thank you for spreading the word. And for those of you who are new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon. Turn on all notifications so you get notified every time when I go live. Also, FYI, yesterday I recorded an interview as bonus content for the channel with an early Bitcoin adopter who got into Bitcoin back in 2012. And he also figured out a way to use crypto to pay for all of his bills. So he's actually living off of cryptocurrency. So if you wanted to learn how to use Bitcoin to basically unbank yourself and not have to go through banks to pay your bills, you're going to want to pay close attention. I plan on releasing this interview on the channel later here this evening, so be on the lookout. And I just wanted to let you know. So if you don't have notifications turned on, you won't be notified and you'll miss out. And I'd hate for that to happen. So you know what to do, fam. Much, much love. No one will be able to hear because I'm in loud area, says Evan Rivero. Oh, no, that's not good. Tomorrow is oh, yeah, that's right. Is it Cinco de Mayo? Like, is that tomorrow? I think so. It's coming up here. I know it's a big deal here in Puerto Rico. May the 420 be with y'all. You already know, fam. That's what's up. Happy 420. That's not a surprise that they're going to add 0.5%. That's right. It seems to be anticipating it. Alan, they're going to add a ton more points as the dollar goes to zero. Facts, fam. That's for damn sure. The CBDC era. Brandon Coin. Oh, man, you're right. CBDCs are central bank digital currencies. The Fed's central bankers have been working on this for quite some time. It's already rolling out in different countries around the world. They already have their pilot rolled out here in the United States. They also have their new payment system, FedNow, which is a precursor to the CBDCs. And I need to stress extreme caution. CBDCs are ultimately the enslavement of humanity. It's a way for them to control you 100%. They can give you your funds and they could make it expire if you don't spend it by a certain time. If you have a different political view or opinion, they may censor you and say you're not allowed to spend this. It's ultimately programmable digital dollars. We already don't like dollars, so just imagine when it's programmable and they can use that against you, in which you and I both know they will. But that's why we have Bitcoin as the solution, as the antidote to those CBDCs, because they cannot control the Bitcoin blockchain. They cannot censor the Bitcoin protocol, and Bitcoin is on its own vector. So as the dollar, we say goodbye, and hyperinflation does occur here in the United States, which we're already witnessing, firsthand. Just look at the prices of everything soaring. Just real estate in of itself over the past couple of years is up how much percent? Here in Puerto Rico, rents are like double what they were a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? Real estate's through the roof, and it's not just here, but all across the United States. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So just say no to CBDCs and just say yes to the King Crypto. You know what I mean? And just say no to Brandon Coin if that ever did come out. Oh my God. Still a long wait, but we'll be watching today because we got to take profit, says Nathan Roth. Appreciate you tuning in. Dankness says Litecoin going parabolic. That means Doge goes too due to the mining pair. When you mine Doge, you get Litecoin at the same time. I did not know that. Good insights. Thank you for putting that on my radar. I'm not really bullish on Litecoin, but it is one of the OG coins. It's like, considered the silver. Bitcoin's considered digital gold. So it is very interesting. It does tend to lead the bull markets. The halving event is significant, but, I discount Tom Lee's prediction of Litecoin outpacing Bitcoin 700% this cycle, just based on previous cycles that didn't go up 700%, went up, collectively 500% one time and another time less than 500%. And also due to the fact he sold the majority of all his Bitcoin, to the best of my knowledge. I mean, he announced that years back that he sold his Litecoin position. It just makes me think otherwise. Obviously, I'm optimistic and bullish on the King, especially at the time of the halving, which is around the corner, considering it's less than a year out. So I just wanted to state that. But I am interested in knowing your thoughts. How many of you are actually bullish on Litecoin and think it has a viable opportunity or shot to outpace Bitcoin as far as price gains of the price action for this cycle? Let me know what your thoughts are. Megadon, appreciate you. He says, on the roof setting up my neons for summer, listening to JV. Much love and much respect. Smash up for RJ. Greatly appreciate that, Helen, and it's good to see you again, stranger. It's been a minute. Listen to the lady. Helen is an OG. That's right. Helen has been listening to this show for years. One of the original OGs here on the channel, so I greatly appreciate and respect Helen. Show her some love in the comments. Nathan says, I had hundreds of Litecoin, and thank God I converted all of that ish into Bitcoin. Years at the peak. Won't stack any in the future either. Thanks for letting us know and keeping it 100. The tapeworm will gobble up. Talking about tapeworm, somebody's referring to Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, right? Can't wait to be able to donate that much. Just saying, isn't that cool? How cool is that? Just being able to say, hey, here's $1.5 million, $500,000 to the Bitcoin Foundation, $500,000 to pay off this bet, $500,000 to donate here. That's why I say much love and respect to Balaji. I knew that bet wouldn't happen. I think most of us knew it was, you know what I mean? It was a long shot, to say the least. But guess what? There's still 45 more days. Will it happen? Probably not, but is there a slight possibility? Still maybe a 1% chance? Yeah, absolutely. Balaji says there's still a 10% chance of it happening, just FYI. I'm not as optimistic as that, but I know it's inevitable. Eventually, Bitcoin's going to reach $1 million. No argument whatsoever. But the $1 million question becomes, when? What's the time period? You know what I mean? I think personally by 2030, it is inevitable we see $1 million Bitcoin price. And if the dollar goes kaput sooner than we anticipate and hyperinflation occurs here in the United States on a grand scale, like we witnessed in Argentina and different countries around the world, then absolutely, I mean, $1 million Bitcoin price is not a hard target because Bitcoin has no top, as fiat currencies such as ish coins, the US dollar, have no bottom, if you know what I mean. Bitcoin will be higher than 155,000 by Xmas 2025. 100% agreed. I think we hit that cycle peak 300,000 easily. I think 155,000 for next year, though, is a great target for 2024. You know what I mean? Because anything is possible, especially in the current state of where we are in the world. How could that bet come off exactly, Helen? It was a long shot, to say the least. I think he was trying to create awareness, and as I mentioned earlier, it's his way of saying, hey, I'm willing to drop $1 million to create awareness that they're going to continue to print trillions and that you cannot trust the corrupt banking institutions. I think ultimately he got his point across, if you're to ask me. I have been seeing a really convincing TA that supports the area at 150,000 at the halving. Epic. Love to hear that, Mega Don. That's right in alignment with the analysis I shared today from crypto analyst Tech Dev. So that's what's up. I hope he is right. I hope that analysis comes true. Why did they send it to Africa? I'm not sure what you're referring to there, fam. Having a pre-programmed event in the Litecoin network that cuts the block reward in half. In other words, miners receive 50% fewer Litecoins for each block they successfully mine. That's right. Jeff says this is done to limit the supply of the Litecoins and to maintain a balance between supply and demand, which can help increase the value of the cryptocurrency. That's right. Oh, the 5th. My bad. This is hilarious. But yeah, Cinco de Mayo is the 5th. So then it would be Friday because today is only the 3rd. So I'm not sure why I said the 4th, especially when we say Cinco. Yeah, thank you for clarifying, fam. I am a bull on Litecoin, especially now 3 months before the next halving. Good to note, Steve. I bought Litecoin in 2021, says Jeff. Maybe I will finally get my money back and buy Bitcoin. I found my ledger yesterday. Glad to hear. I thought you were just playing with us when you said you lost it, as that's a very common trope. Hey, I lost my my hard wallet in a boating accident. Oh, the aliens abducted it. What are you going to do? But you actually really meant you lost it, so I'm glad you found it. Much love, much respect. That's what's up. It's okay to even lose your ledger as long as you keep track of your 24 password phrase. You can always buy another ledger from the factory in France and restore your account. 100%, you are right, Steve. So let's touch upon that. Self-custody is the way to go if you really want to protect your crypto assets. I say remove them from the exchanges, especially with the war going on between the regulators and the major exchanges around the world. That's why many of them are getting their licenses right now overseas, abroad. They want nothing to do with regulators in the United States. And they don't even care if they offer their services in the US because there's a bigger market overseas, and that's just a fact. You know what I mean? But that's a good point. If you ever lose your Trezor or your ledger or your hardware wallet, as long as you have your recovery seed phrase in a safe place, then you can recover it without that original device that you lost. That's the power, and being able to get that. And that's the way to protect, your crypto in case you did lose it. But my recommendation would be to protect your 24-word passphrase. Keep it separate from your wallet. Because if, God forbid, your house got robbed and you had it, hypothetically in the closet, and then you had your, let's say, your ledger and then your 24-word passphrase and a notebook right next to each other. And then the hacker opens the notebook. They see a 24-word recovery seed. They can type that in. They don't even need your wallet. They don't need the physical wallet unless you have it encrypted with a 25th, which is an extra passphrase, turning it from 24 to 25. Then you're more secure. So I highly recommend everyone turn that feature on and add that additional password to protect yourself, just in case, if, like I said, if someone actually found your 24-word mnemonic key phrase, they can hack you if you don't have that 25th word set up. So I highly recommend doing that. You can learn more about that all over YouTube. Easy to do, easy to find out about, but some of you probably didn't know that, so now you know. You know what I mean? Thanks for the alpha. Litecoin was the first fork of Bitcoin, exactly. Used to own hundreds and sold it for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin halving is the same as Litecoin. That's right. It reduces the supply, gets cut in half, just like that. Cheers to you in Puerto Rico from Mexico City. Shout out to my Carrera in Mexico. I have friends actually living in Mexico. Beautiful place to be. Shout out to the Mexican people. Paper burns. That's right, paper does burn, so you can lose that passphrase. So there's other more secure ways to store it than writing it on a piece of paper. A piece of paper, not the smartest way to do it, but yeah, there's a lot of ways to do that. So I'll let you guys figure that out. And with that being shared, fam, now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. I broke down the latest technical analysis as Bitcoin limps into the FOMC, as flagging volume adds to the Bitcoin price hurdles, and hopefully within the next hour we get that update from the FOMC. We also discuss, according to Thomas Lee, the creator of Litecoin, Litecoin is poised to gain 700% gains versus Bitcoin, with the Litecoin halving just 3 more months away. We also discussed the latest with Bitcoin BRC20 token standard becoming a new destination for meme tokens, as well as Bitcoin miners earn $50 billion from the Bitcoin block reward fees since 2010. We also discussed Balaji paying out his crazy $1 million bet with the Bitcoin price action 97% under his initial target. And we also discussed Parabolic advance for Bitcoin now on the table as bullish technical indicator flashes, according to popular crypto analyst Tech Dev, and I laid out for you his $155,000 case for the King Crypto by Q2 of 2024. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below, and I look forward to seeing you all in tomorrow's episode.